Hey there, folks. Today you've got Steve, Dad, and Matt here, the whole family, and welcome into Truck King. We have 4 big 3-row SUVs to compare today, and that's why we needed all of us. Over here, I've got the Volkswagen Atlas and the Hyundai Palisade.
And down here on the end, we have the Ford Explorer, and in the middle, the Volvo XC90.
And this style of vehicle, these SUVs, this is the most popular body style in North America. If you don't already own one right now, you probably will in the future. So let's have a look at these.
Let's go over what we have brought out here today. So we start with the most affordable of the bunch. That is the Volkswagen Atlas exec line that we have right here, and that's almost $63,000 Canadian as tested. Then we move over here to the Hyundai Palisade Ultimate Calligraphy, and this thing is just over $68,000 Canadian as tested.
Then we jump down here to the end, the Ford Explorer Tremor that we've got here today, which is just under $70,000, and the Volvo XC90 T8 plug-in hybrid at just a little over $102,000. These two are kind of our outliers in price today because we've got the full off-road kit over here on the Ford, and we've got the Ultra package on our Volvo, which includes your upgraded air suspension, that plug-in hybrid drivetrain, and a couple extra goodies, making them just a little bit more than the other two down there. But yeah, most expensive, Volvo, most affordable, Volkswagen.
We've got to talk power now, and we're going to go from least powerful to most powerful, which means we start with the Volkswagen Atlas and its 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, sending its power through an 8-speed transmission. It makes 269 horsepower and 273 pound-feet of torque.
So next up in the lineup, we're going to move over here to the Ford Explorer. Now under this hood, we are looking at a 2.3-liter EcoBoost turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 300 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque, and that is sent through a 10-speed transmission. And then we're going to jump back down the line to the...
We bounce back to me and the Hyundai Palisade, and our Palisade today has the hybrid setup. So this is a 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder paired with a hybrid engine. Overall system output here, 329 horsepower and 339 pound-feet of torque, and that is sent through just a 6-speed automatic transmission, which is kind of interesting. It's the fewest gears of the group. And then finally, we jump back to Matt and the Volvo.
So if you're looking for the most power in today's grouping, the Volvo XC90. We are looking here at a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Now this is a plug-in hybrid and uses a rear differential electric motor that aids in that drive, and that gives you a total of 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque, and that is all sent through an 8-speed automatic transmission as well. So yeah, overall, this is our most powerful. Atlas is the least powerful.
But the prices reflect that.
And the electric drivetrains come out on top as well over the ICE drivetrains here.
True.
You know, and that is to be expected, especially from a torque standpoint.
Yep. Okay, Matt, now we have to look at second and third row legroom, which arguably in this segment is like the most important spec. If you're buying one of these, you probably have someone and some stuff to put in the back of the vehicle. So this is incredibly important, and we'll get to cargo space in a second too. But for now, legroom, and we are starting with the smallest of all the vehicles, which is the Ford Explorer. Now it's only by a tiny bit. It's almost the exact same as the Volvo, but still, by the numbers, this is the least amount of legroom. So now let's talk about what we have here. First of all, the baby seat situation. We have lower latch and top tethers in all 4 of these rear positions, which means you have maximum flexibility, which is best case scenario. Now let me climb my butt in here. And yes, poor Matt got jammed in the third rows today. So I'm pulled all the way forward. Like I pretty much couldn't sit here, Matt.
Yep.
I'd have to move back a little bit.
Yep, and you have 37 inches of legroom in the second row.
Right.
Whereas,
that's not bad for me now. I'm kind of comfy.
Okay.
I could sit here, and I stand at 6'2", just to point that out. I definitely have enough headroom. And then when it comes to amenities, I do have HVAC controls down here, which I like. I do have 110 volt power and 2 USB-C ports, plus a couple cup holders. So yeah, not too bad. That said, Matt, with me in my comfy position, how are you?
With you in your comfortable position, I'm okay. I have just a hand's width of room between my knees and the back of the seat there. My knees are definitely elevated, so the floor does kind of come up. These seats are rather shallow.
Right.
Now, we did pull the specs for the third row as the smallest measurement. So I want you to go ahead and come back to the 31.8 or 7, pardon me.
Okay, coming back.
Yeah, you're already touching me. Go ahead.
I can
I'll
feel
move.
it jamming
I'll move.
into your knee.
I'll move. That's it.
That's
Okay.
it.
So with Steve there, oh my God, unless I'm willing to, you know, kind of contort my pelvis a little bit, that would not be a very fun ride for me.
Right.
So this is the smallest back seat of our grouping here today. But yeah, with you in a comfortable position, it's not bad. I could sit back here for a little while. I have ample headroom. I have a vent above me, which is nice. And I do have some USB-C charging as well as a couple of cup holders here. So yeah, there are a couple of amenities.
Good news is, Matt, it should only get better from here.
They're getting bigger. Let's go.
Moving up now, we get to the Volvo, and it's almost the same as the Explorer, but there's a whole bunch of different features here. So we'll start with the car seat situation. In our second row, and you'll notice this is not captain seats, we have lower latch over here on the passenger side, lower latch on the driver's side, and 3 top tethers across here, which is pretty good. But in the back, there's nothing. No lower latch, no top tether anchors.
Nope.
Which just seems weird to me, Matt. In a 3-row vehicle, I always have kids in the back. And obviously it depends on how many kids you have, but that's definitely kind of a shot against the Volvo, I'd say. However, there's a weird trick over here, and this is the only modern vehicle I've even seen with one of these. It has a built-in booster seat. Now this is for older, heavier kids, but yes, if you have this, you don't need to bring that little booster with you. You just put that up, the kid sits here, uses this seat belt, and they're safe. So that's definitely super cool. So yeah, it depends on how many kids you have and where they're gonna be sitting. Now I'll also point out that this middle section does fold down as well, and it independently moves from the other 2 seats. So I like that too, and for your sake, Matt, I'll move
Yeah,
all the way up.
you can keep it up, and that gives me a little extra foot room back here.
Okay, now
but
I'll
now
go
the big
ahead and
test.
climb in.
So on paper, the Volvo also has 37 inches of second row legroom, which is the exact same as the Ford.
Right.
And the only reason that it got the edge over the Ford is for a 1/10 of an inch difference here in the third row at 31.9 inches.
So I'm gonna come back to where I consider myself to be comfortable. It's about there.
So that's you comfortable.
Yeah.
Okay, well, with you comfortable, it's touching my knee.
Okay.
So unlike in the Ford, where I still had just a hair extra room, so again, you're comfortable. This isn't all the way back. Let's go all the way back.
Coming back.
Yeah, keep going, keep going. I've moved out of the way.
Okay, that's
all right. That's full back. Let's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Not. Okay, I'm wedging. I mean, thankfully with this move forward, I could kind of skew myself, but I definitely can't sit straight in this one. That's interesting, considering on paper it has just a little more room back here.
Yeah,
but
the real world doesn't feel that way.
I should also comment, headroom in the rear. I measured just a hair under 6 feet, and I'm touching the roof.
Right.
I had to take my hat off for this shot.
And that's like a styling thing. You can just see the Volvo's a little more raked, the roof's a little bit lower, the other ones have more of a big boxy profile, and this doesn't, so you lose that, right?
Exactly.
All right, on to the next.
Next up.
I'm child locked, no. Next we move up here to the Volkswagen Atlas, and we'll start with the baby seat situation. So I have lower latch and top tethers here in our captain's chairs, and then in the back there are just top tethers, no lower latch down there.
Both seats have top tethers, yeah,
so
nothing.
Decent flexibility, but definitely not the best of the group. Now let me climb in, and I will tell you, we ranked this Volkswagen second because it has considerably less second row legroom than the Hyundai, but the third row is actually the best of the bunch here. So now we got to kind of feel on that and see what the space is like. And I mean, I'm already comfortable. I don't know about you.
I mean, I've got tons of room already. I've got, let's call it 3 hand widths. I can put a fist in here.
Nice.
By comparison with the other 2.
Okay, yeah, no, that's nice to have so much space.
But let's do it. So at its most, the third row does tout over 34 inches of legroom. At its least, it's 33. So we're talking about 2 inches more than our previous models.
That's all the way back.
That's all the way back. So hold on, let me scooch back. Oh yeah, there we go. I'm touching, but
this is monstrous for me though, Matt. This is by far the most legroom I've had out of any of these vehicles yet when I move all the way back.
The hairs on my knees are just skinning the back of the seat back here, but I could sit back here, and I will comment, as we went from Ford to Volvo now to Volkswagen, my knees keep getting further and further closer to the floor. So I'm almost in a full seating, it's like upright position here, which is nice.
Yeah, you can
I
be legit
don't
comfy.
touch the ceiling in here. And in terms of third row amenities, I've got lots of cup holders, and I also have power. I have 12-volt power and USB charging over here.
Nice.
So definitely a couple of options. And it's nice, I can put my leg out in that nice gap right there.
I should touch on that too. I have full HVAC controls up here. I do have a heated second row, which is always kind of nice. And then down below, 2 USB-C ports and a 115-volt plug hidden behind there. So yeah, quite a few amenities here in the Volkswagen as well. This thing is comfy. I don't know how the Hyundai is going to beat it.
Let's go look at why we call the Hyundai the biggest in the group.
All right. And now we arrive up here at the Hyundai Palisade, which does have the most legroom, especially in the second row. First, we'll talk about the car seat situation though. So I have lower latch and top tethers in the second row. In the third row, you got lower latch passenger side and driver side, and then 3 top tethers along the back. So again, that's pretty much maximum flexibility here in the Hyundai for car seats as well, and I like that. And now let me climb in. So I keep saying it's a lot. On paper, this is 43 inches of second row legroom, which is 5 or 6 inches more than the rest. And this is also the only powered second row. So right now, Matt, I'm moving forward. That's actually as far forward as I can go, and I'm not even jamming into the seat. Now, granted, this seat could come back, but even still, this person has many inches of adjustability too. So I'm fully comfortable in the full forward position in this one.
In the full forward position, I mean, I've got loads of space. I can almost put my legs out at a 45 degree and tuck them under the seat there. So tons of room from the back. Now on paper, in the furthest back position, which you can start getting to because you're going to take a little while, I have a ½ inch less than the Volvo. So we're going to see that here in a second.
Than the Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, sorry.
Too many V's.
So, yeah, there we go. All right, so that's you in the back?
That's all the way back.
All
Although
right.
I could do this too.
Okay, that's fair. All right, well, if you do that, yeah, I'm right in the seat. I got no room left. But if you're in just to call it comfortable position, wherever you want to be, yeah, I've got a finger's width still. So I've got a fair bit of room. I will note, though, my knees are higher than the Volkswagen. The Volkswagen, I had more depth. I had more upright, so that's a little more uncomfortable. But I do get some handy options over here, though. I can power my seat both forward and back, so I'm already at the furthest back I can go, so I can't get much more room than I have.
Yeah, but come on forward.
All the way up, my head is just skinning that roof, but I can recline. I can go back. It's not very far, maybe 4 inches, but that does make a lot of difference. And if you're comfortable, like, I mean, this thing is huge back here. In addition to those, I also have a heated seat. I have USB-C charging, and I've got a pair of cup holders back here. So yeah, I could ride in this for a while.
And when it comes to amenities up here, I also have USB-Cs in the back of the seat. I have a plug down here. I have a little storage bin down here in the middle. And then I have all my HVAC controls up here on the ceiling and heated and ventilated second row seats. So no doubt, man, when it comes to just features, powered everything.
Just comforts in general.
Yeah, the Hyundai is definitely the best of the group. Now I think we have to talk about cargo. So now let's go through the lineup one more time and we'll go look at the back end of these things.
Hey everybody, listen, we got a new shipment of Giddy Up. So what's a Giddy Up? Well, this will get your butt into your tall truck or your lifted truck. And if you're not over 6 feet tall, as your kids and your wife aren't, you really need one of these. Go below to the link in the description and it'll take you right to the sale page.
Let's talk cargo now. We're going to start with all the seats folded down, and yes, the Volvo is the smallest of the group. This has 85.7 cubic feet when everything is like this, but then let me fold up the third row, and I have to point out, this is a manual third row. Don't forget it's the most expensive vehicle here, and there's not even a pull strap. You have to lean in and grab them, or quite frankly, you have to go up there to the second row and do it. So that's kind of just annoying. You know, I'm surprised the Volvo didn't think of that. Now back here behind the third, this is just over 11 cubic feet. It is the smallest of the group, and we're gonna do the bin test today. So with the third row up, the bin centered, touching the front, will the hatch close? Oh, it's actually so close, but no, it will not. Now, keep moving down the line and we'll see how the rest do.
So coming in the third spot in our comparison today is the Ford Explorer. You're looking at 85.8 cubic feet of total storage with all the seats down. Now third row here is powered up and down, and I even have the nice left and right button, so they will both come up together at the same time. Below the floor back here, I do have a little bit of storage as well, which is nice. You can get a fair bit of stuff in there. And behind my third row seat, I have 16 cubic feet of storage. Let's see, touching the seats in the middle, if that hatch will close. I think it's going to be close. Not quite. So we did not pass the bin test. We are still looking for one that will close. On to the next.
Now the Hyundai Palisade, total cargo here, 86.7 cubic feet. And one of the big differences here is all 4 of the seats back here are powered, and there is an all up button, so I can just hold all up. And look at that, even the second row comes up too. So Palisade wins when it comes to just having the most powered seats. Now behind this third row, they list 19.1 cubic feet, which does look like it's going to be enough for the bin. Let's find out. And it is enough for the bin, but actually, you know what? Let me open it back up because there's something I want to show you guys. The fact that the third row can move forward and back also means that you can cheat those seats forward, and look at that. You can buy yourself 3-4 extra inches. So now I put the bin in and I know it already passed, but you get this much extra space. So again, this just speaks to the flexibility of the Hyundai. If the person in the second row is small, they can move up, the third row can move up, and you can get more cargo. If everyone's big up there, you can move back and get less cargo, but it's the only one that gives you that flexibility in the third row.
And we get to our largest cargo space of the day. The Volkswagen Atlas has a, I dare say, cavernous 96.6 cubic feet of storage, and that's almost a 10-foot jump over the Hyundai. Now, back here on our third row, I don't have any powered seat options. The third row is manual, but unlike the Volvo, I do have at least these straps that I can just grab and pull them up with. Much handier than having to climb into the vehicle. Below the floor, I mean sunscreen, but I do get a little bit of storage there. Not nearly as much as the Ford, but a little bit is nice. And we will do our nice handy dandy bin test. I can already tell you by that gap that we should be fine. But let's see. Closing. And locked. So yeah, definitely the most space, and then we have 20.3 cubic feet behind that third seat. So the most space overall. The Hyundai definitely has more configurability, and you can move that seat compared to over here where it's just huge. So we did give it the nod as far as being the best for storage today.
Now let's talk towing and payload. These are also important numbers in this segment. Talking towing, all of these do 5,000 pounds except the Hyundai Palisade here. Because of the hybrid engine, this thing just does 4,000 pounds. So it's a little bit worse in the towing department. And yes, this thing actually does have a hitch down there. It's just covered up so you can't see it. In fact, the only one today that doesn't have a hitch is the Volvo over there, which, Matt, is disappointing again because of the price. It'd be nice to be standard, but it is not there. Now, let's talk payload, and we'll look at the door jamb stickers, and we start with the worst of the bunch, and that is the Ford Explorer Tremor. This thing has 1,000 pounds even when it comes to payload, and let me just say quickly, I think in this segment, 1,000 pounds is the bar. If you're trying to put a family of 4 or 5 in here with a bunch of stuff, you basically need 1,000 pounds. So Ford has just enough.
Now, stepping up from the Ford, we do come down the line to the Volkswagen Atlas. This one here, we are looking at 1,102 pounds of cargo and payload total for the whole unit. Next now, runner up, we're gonna go back to the Palisade, where we're looking at 1,180 pounds. And coming in at the top end,
I gotta be honest, Matt, too, I was surprised. The Volvo has the most payload of the group, and I'm surprised because it's the plug-in hybrid. Usually when you get a plug-in hybrid, you add a battery pack and electric motors, the vehicle gets heavy, that takes away from payload, but that's not the case today. Our Volvo XC90, as it sits, has 1,210 pounds of payload. Okay, folks, now it's time to go driving in all these. We're starting in the Volkswagen Atlas, and we're gonna go least expensive to most expensive. So we gotta feel the power. First thing we do is put it over into sport mode. We got drive modes here. This is also the least powerful of the group. Okay, ready? Taking off. Woo!
turbo.
Yeah, that was
underwhelming.
a little underwhelming, actually. Like, the turbo lag was very apparent, and then when the power hit, usually that's when I say, oh, that's pretty good. No, that wasn't the best. So yes, there is a reason why this one costs a little bit less, and it has the smallest power number of the group today too.
269 horsepower here in the Atlas.
Yeah, and it definitely felt like it was the least powerful. So power's not great. Now in terms of passenger space up here in the front, yeah, this thing feels roomy, and I think the thing I noticed right away is the headroom, just the boxy nature of the Atlas. There's tons of space in here. So just like we already said with the back seats being the biggest, the front feels, yes, extremely spacious as well. And then I guess for me, guys, what catches my eye is this nice wood trim. I got fully digital gauges, got the big touchscreen. this at first blush doesn't feel way cheaper than the other ones, and yet it is. So I like that here. I'm not feeling like, oh, the Atlas is cheap and it feels cheap, because it doesn't.
In that way, it's a little bit surprising because Volkswagen has always been a bit of a premium brand. At least that's certainly the way I have always thought of it. I think they're repositioning this to really try to take a big bite out of this mid-size SUV market, and to do that, you've got to give people space, drivability, and you know what? It's all about texture and bringing all the elements together nicely. And yeah, you're missing certain things in here, but nothing that's like outrageous. So all in all, I think you know, they're shooting for a new goal, and they're probably going to get there.
Two more things that jump out at me up here. I do have a head-up display here. I like that. I'm a big believer in head-up display. And then another thing, though, is Volkswagen has gotten rid of the physical buttons. There's these guys, but even these are like the touch-sensitive buttons. And then the volume control is this little touch bar. Yeah, the sliders, exactly. So that's something to note. If you like physical buttons, Volkswagen has totally gone away from
Even your panoramic sunroof has a slider control to throw it open and throw it closed.
Right, yeah, that's
interesting. It kind of messed me up the first time I played with it.
Okay, actually it worked pretty well, but it still feels funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, Matt, what do you think about the second row? You're sitting back there now while we're driving. Any thoughts?
Seats comfortable. I like where my HVAC is. All my controls are easily accessible. We do have these sunshades on both passenger and driver side. You know, for the kids, for sure, back here, that's really nice. But overall, just lots of room. I mean, even, you know, Liam's over there. I can't quite reach to him unless I'm really trying. Cavernous is the word that I use describing the storage, and that's how I feel back here. It's big inside.
Yep.
Right? And that's, you really, if you look at the exterior boxiness of the vehicle, you can see where all that space came from by just kind of stretching the corners out.
Fair. All right, well, on to the next. All right, folks, now we've jumped up into the Hyundai, and the first thing we will do is go ahead and put it into sport mode.
Sport.
And let's feel the power.
Engage.
Go. Woof, woof.
Well, there's something in the back. But... Okay.
Okay, so that was better than the Volkswagen.
Definitely.
And you could feel off the line it kicked. That's because this is a hybrid. So you get that little bit of electric torque, plenty to mask the turbo lag. And then when the turbo came on strong, it just kind of took over. Still not like insane, overwhelming power, but really nice power. I wouldn't complain about that for sure.
Adequate.
Yeah,
Good merge power.
Yeah, for sure. And that's always one of the advantages to going for the hybrid as well, is you're getting a little bit of that instant torque right off the line. So jumping into the Hyundai, you know, my first impression was really this is the most kind of tech forward vehicle that we have here. It's also feeling like one of the most luxurious interiors. And then just talking about these seats, there is so much adjustability in these seats. In fact, from the screen up here, I can adjust every single seat in the vehicle, which is kind of interesting. And then we also have, again, the heated and ventilated second row. I have a rear camera mirror, which I didn't have in the Volkswagen. I have a head-up display, all the screens in front of me. Yeah, tech forward and feature packed is the best way to put it, I think.
And yet, they've kept the buttons and the switches.
They have.
You'll notice that. You've got touch-sensitive stuff as well, but they're, you know, I think they paid attention that people don't want all the buttons and stuff to go away. So I was happy to see all that.
Yeah, I agree. And what's interesting there too is that's not Hyundai wide, like the Hyundai Tucson, for example. It did get rid of its buttons and switches. So I wonder if that's not feedback driven too, that they went there and then they heard from customers and went back. Or maybe it's just they think Palisade's a different demographic than Tucson, so they kept the buttons. But I fully agree that I like the buttons.
So, but I just got to say one thing, Steve, and this is strictly old guy. I could never buy a white interior.
That's fair.
I'm sorry, I'm not really a slob, but on the other hand, my hands are always dirty, just the wheel alone.
And the wheel's already a little bit dirty just from different people driving it. And I mean, yeah, I'll speak to my own experience with
kids.
3 young kids. Yeah, this would be a nightmare. I mentioned the seats being really comfortable, but again, lots of space up here, plenty of headroom, so no problems there. I like this kind of big, deep storage down here in front of your center bin. That's sort of handy, and then you also get storage in here. So yeah,
That's definitely a purse platform.
Yeah, that is fair, and a big one at that. And then I guess one thing I do have to complain about, talking about tech forward and changing different things, is this stupid shifter. I don't know why Hyundai has gone to these shifters. I'm not a fan of having the start button buried down here, hard to find. You twist the end of it for drive, back for reverse, press it for park. To me, neutral can be hard to find. Not that you're finding neutral very often, but still, why complicate these things? They're not the first brand to go to a stock shifter, but yeah, I'm not a fan of the shifter whatsoever.
No, this is, so many brands do this where it's like, oh, this has been like this forever, we got to change it and make it cool. No, there's some things you don't need to make cool. Controls are controls.
Right, yeah, no, and I agree with that. So yes, not a fan of that there. And what else, Matt? What about the back? You notice anything back there?
Well, we talked about earlier, we do have the most second row leg room here.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, my legs are nice and long and spread out. I'm very comfortable. Tons of headroom. I get a nice sunshade. I've got all my HVAC controls up here in the ceiling. I have had my seat on the cool setting because it is quite a toasty day out here today.
Nice.
We have our own panoramic sunroof in the back here as well. Tons of stuff. I actually like, and this is something I do like Hyundai does, for the rear passenger occupants, we do have a car or cross traffic alert. So if I go to get out of this back seat, this lights up and will literally tell me, hey, there's a car coming, don't get out yet.
Right.
So I mean, for kids that are old enough to understand, or for even just adults getting out on busy city streets, that is just a cool safety feature.
Sure, it might save a cyclist getting doored.
Absolutely.
That too, for sure.
Final thing I want to point out, because again, it is unique, there is a UV cleaning light here in the Hyundai Palisade. So if you want to make sure there's no bacteria on your phone, you toss it in there, turn the UV light on, and yeah, your phone will be all clean. That's very much a COVID thing, but they never got rid of it, even though they brought it in during the pandemic. And yeah, that's it for Hyundai. On to the next one. All right, now we're in the Ford Explorer, and you know we're going to feel the power. So we go over to sport mode. And I will point out, this one has off-road mode, slippery mode, normal, eco, sport, and tow haul. All right, sport mode engaged. Just squaring up here, and power.
Oh,
There it is. That's EcoBoost for you. Yeah, decidedly pronounced turbo lag. Like when you first feel it, it's like, oh, that's not great. And then the turbo comes on, and it's pretty good. But I will say, doesn't hit as hard as the Hyundai did, even off the line, and even once the turbo came on, I did feel like the Hyundai felt a little bit stronger.
It did, but this sounded better.
This did sound a bit better, yeah. Hyundai was a little buzzy. Actually, the Volkswagen was a bit buzzy too. This has been, I'd say, the best small turbo that we've had so far.
Yeah, the little blow off there from the turbo, the little whistle, that was nice.
Yep. Ford spends a lot of money making sure that engines sound right.
Fair. So now let's talk about the package, and I think we have to start by saying, you know, this is the Tremor. It's the off-road one in the lineup. You're getting upgraded tires, upgraded suspension. You're getting a Torsen rear differential here. And of course, no, we're not going off-road today. If we did, this would be the obvious winner. Just tires alone, this thing would destroy everything else here. So nice to have that. And even though the other ones aren't off-roady, they don't really have good off-road packages on those other SUVs, where Ford does do that. So you got to give them credit there, because then they also have the Explorer ST, which is like the sporty fun one. So Ford does kind of cover more area, I would say, with their trim levels than the other brands here. Now, sitting in here though, this one feels obviously the least luxurious, right? They're not going for that high-end luxury feeling. And I'm not going to say it feels bad or cheap, but it definitely feels very different, I'd say, than all the other three we have here today.
Still, it's neat, tidy, and it's it all pulls together. But you're right, it doesn't have the color differentiation, doesn't have as many materials to contrast, but it's a Ford.
Yeah, fair. Maybe you're not expecting that from this vehicle. And my comment there on the less luxury isn't just kind of the darker colors and the materials. It's also the fact that I, don't have a head-up display or a rear camera mirror or, the crazy fancy seats or the fancy seats up here or any sunroof whatsoever.
No sunroof.
And that's when you start going, yeah, but then you look at the price point, it's more expensive than the Hyundai and the Volkswagen. And again, I get the off-road thing, but still it doesn't feel like the best value. It's the first one I've got into and gone, it's how much? And I'm getting what inside? So yeah, to me, this doesn't feel like it's all that value packed.
Even little things like, correct me if I'm wrong, but you don't even have a wireless charger up there. I believe we've done this before in this vehicle.
You're correct.
Where there was no wireless charging. Where
that's not it there
we had
either.
like just little features like that you're missing for, you know, $2,000 more than the Palisade, and almost, I'll do it in my head here, $6,000 more than the Volkswagen.
Right, right. So yeah, from all of those angles, it feels like it misses out. Now it does have one feature the others don't have today, which is Blue Cruise. So this one does have hands-free driving on the highway. That is pretty cool. That's tech-forward luxury for you right there. So there's one thing the Ford has. But outside of that, yeah, it just feels the most old school. So I guess if you're looking to go off-road, if you're looking to go rip around in the forest, this would be your choice today. And outside of that, I don't think it does that much better than the others.
No, it kind of sits in a class of one that way, and it's depending on its heritage, so to speak. Whereas somebody like Hyundai, who no matter how long they've been around, they're still the newcomer.
Sure.
So they're always going to try to give you more.
On the button front, Ford is also very minimally buttoned. You do have a volume knob, you got a couple buttons down here, some big knobs down here, but still the majority of stuff is in the screen. And I think the big one is the HVAC, right? A lot of brands leave the HVAC on physical buttons because it's something you adjust basically every time you're in the vehicle. Ford didn't do that. They chose to put that in the screen too. And that's something they're doing in the trucks as well. More and more stuff is migrating into the screen. And with that, I think it's time to get in the last one of the group, the Volvo, and yeah, see how it compares. Let's go. All right, folks, and finally the Volvo. This should be the most fun because it's by far the most powerful. We put it into power mode.
Power.
I also like this starts too. Always start in drive mode pure. Battery usage, you can set the creep, and then the steering feel we'll leave on firm. Air suspension control for easy entry and exit, so it'll drop down when you shut it off.
When you put it into power mode, did you feel the airbags dump
Yeah,
too? So we're down now.
Sounded like it even made a different noise too. Yep. Let's feel it.
Here we go.
Oh yeah. Oh, almost chirped them. Chirped them.
Holy crap.
So it actually chirped the tires, traction control kicked in, killed the power, and then rolled it back on. And that's just, yeah, by far the most powerful instant electric torque.
Yeah, 455 horsepower and 523 pound-feet of torque.
Nice.
So,
and even just from behind the wheel doing a little bit of this feels pretty good. Like, this does not feel bad at all.
That's an 8-foot ditch over there.
Gonna get sick?
Easy does it.
That's all. This one's, yeah, definitely the most performance focused it feels like from behind the wheel. I could really be carving some corners. So that does feel good. And that's also, we were just talking about off camera, the fact that the roof height here is so much noticeably lower, but then the whole vehicle just feels lower to the ground than all the other ones do as well. So this one just feels the most hunkered down, kind of sporty, but also the least spacious inside. It's not like we're rubbing, but yeah, not a lot of headroom.
You don't have that same kind of massive space, right? Like our knees are closer to your seats. I feel a little bit closer to Liam back here in the back seat. I can touch him if I had to.
Right.
So yeah, no, definitely tighter.
Right, and that's just Volvo prioritizing styling over interior space, straight up, right?
Which is exactly what it is. It's more aerodynamic. It's got more of that jelly bean look.
Yeah, and again, this is totally subjective, so please feel free to weigh it in the comments. I think it does look pretty good, and it doesn't quite look like the other ones. It doesn't have that upright, boxy look. It's got that low-slung, kind of slick look. So yeah, styling-wise, definitely stands out to me as well. Now talking interior, it's funny, this one's like a blend of both dark colors and the light coloration, but I like it. This wood in front of you seems really, really nice. Again, attention to detail with the, chrome wrap around your vents there, the beautiful speaker covers, which I don't know if you felt these,
Talk about the one thing in the speaker covers.
They will literally cheese grate you if you push hard enough.
These are like laser cut metal grates.
But the real metal, you can feel it right away. So yeah, nice to have that too. Definitely feels, I don't know, does it feel more luxurious than the Hyundai? I guess that's the question I would put forth. And to me, it's right there, but I actually feel like the Hyundai maybe just at first glance feels like more luxury. What do you think?
They feel comparable, I would say right away. Like, that's my gut feeling. I mean, save for your crystal shift knob down there.
Which is nice.
Everything else, like, neither of them really jump ahead of one another.
Okay, fair enough. What do you think, John?
Well, this is the one that I've been driving the most, and one thing I can say about it is it just has a feel, and that being virtually silent inside, and it's just tight. Everything about this vehicle is tight. And so you get this sense that, man, it's just really well screwed together.
Yeah, that's fair. And I guess that's what I was feeling from behind the wheel too. It just takes the corners a little bit better. The steering is responsive. Yes, tight's a good word for it for sure. All right, so we've been through the four, very clear differences, and we will get back to which one we like the best. But the last question I have here in the Volvo for you guys is, this is an outlier in terms of price as well. Now again, granted, it is a plug-in hybrid, so what's going on with the propulsion system is very different. I'll give you that. But does it feel $30,000 better than the other ones? Because that is what it is today. And my short answer is no. Like, I agree with that. The feeling here is just luxurious and tight. But if I was dropping my dollars, I don't see it being worth the money. What do you think?
It comes down to who you are and what it is you expect. And like, I'll talk about me. I mean, you know, we do dirt roads, we do off-road. That's just a normal daily occurrence, right? This thing, I don't think is ever going to see a speck of dirt in its life from the person that buys it.
Sure.
And so for them, how it reacts on the highway, how it rolls at the mall, that's going to matter. Yeah. So it's all in who you are.
Yeah, and brand perception. There's no doubt that Volvo, of all these brands today, has an air, I feel, of luxury around it, more so than those other brands, right?
And safety.
Yeah, and safety, of course, and you pay for that. Now, I will say, though, running over that pothole back there, it's the stiffest of the bunch, too, I feel like. Like, again, the handling is coming from somewhere, and that's because I feel like I'm really feeling everything in the road
Are
as
you
well.
still in sport mode, though?
I am still in sport mode.
Maybe punch out of sport mode and just hit another bump.
And it's a good thing you said that, because this also does have air suspension, which the other ones did not have, right? And yeah, you're not wrong, Matt. That made a pretty significant difference running over those right there.
So sport mode, I noticed it dumped the bags, and we kind of had that tighter, ready to race feel. But yeah, in comfort or hybrid, or it looks like you have another pure mode there. I think in those three, you'd be a little more, like that railroad.
Way better.
Felt a lot better.
Way better. That's a good point. But this is also the only one that can do that. So again, you're getting a bunch for that money. I'm not denying that. But it's still hard for me to justify it after driving them all today.
Yeah, and all I'm saying to that is that's because it's you. Okay?
Right.
Somebody else, name recognition, engineering, safety, they'll think the 30 grand is worth it.
Fair enough. Well, folks, we are coming to the end of this video. Now, we've spent time with all four of these, and you've seen each one is good in some areas and not so good in others. So it's always going to come down to your usage case, what you're doing with it. But for now, guys, we have to pick our favorites. So let's go down the lineup and say which one we would each buy. And I got to tell you, if I was spending my money, it's on the Volkswagen Atlas. It is the most affordable and has the most space. And for a person with small kids, that's what I prioritize. And I can live with the lack of horsepower. What do you think, Dad?
Exploder. Oh, I'm sorry, the Ford Explorer. Listen, off-road matters to me, and I tow quite a bit. And whereas some of these two will tow, there's something about that Ford that's going to make towing better.
Yeah, what do you think, Matt?
Fair enough. I went back and forth. I spent a lot of time in the Atlas before today, but after driving and spending some time with that Palisade, I'm going Palisade. A little bit more money. It just feels like it's got all the stuff that I want there, and I can play with that price a little bit to strip out some of the features that I don't need. So I could kind of bring that price down, make it almost comparable to the Atlas with that little bit more power and that more space. I'm going Hyundai.
Fair. So yeah, sadly, the only one we didn't pick was the Volvo, and we all agree it's an incredible vehicle, but it's just too expensive for what it is in this group, and I could never justify going for it.
It's just too incredible.
And with that, folks, we've reached the end of this one, and now, of course, we need to hear from you, because as you just heard, we can't even agree which one is the best. So why don't you guys let us know which one you would pick? Drop in the comments. Let us know which one you would buy, and then as always, while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join, become a member of Truck King, and then come right back here to the channel and see what we're testing next. See ya.
Thanks.